Good afternoon, everyone. How we doing?
Good, Professor. How are you?
Doing good, doing good. So it's Wednesday, last day of the week for us. Not for you. I think you guys have a Friday discussion session. Why do they do that? I don't know why they put them on Fridays. Where's Joshua? You in here, Joshua?
Hello.
There you are. You are now co-host, so you can omit people if you want. Or don't.
Okay.
Anybody gives you attitude, kick them out.
Sounds good.
All right. Which might not be a bad thing. I'm pretty boring sometimes. Get to talk about Disneyland today. Doesn't that sound like fun? So in every single class, I have had at least one person work at Disneyland. So who here has worked at Disneyland? Yes, we don't want to see you eating on the camera. How was practice?
It was good. Thanks for asking.
Good. So Ronaldo is doing tryouts for a professional Virginia soccer team. So he is joining us where? From whereabouts in Virginia are you?
Leesburg, Virginia.
Leesburg. Very pretty up there.
hmm
So what do you think about living there if you get the job?
It's pretty cold, but I wouldn't mind it. It's pretty cold, but that's the only thing that's bad about it, I guess.
Yes, you know, Virginia has more guns per capita than any other state.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Bunch of good old boys over there.
hmm
Got to be careful. My son was stationed in Virginia, and we went over there quite a few times while he was in the Navy. So
Oh, that's cool.
go to Virginia if you get a chance. Go to Virginia Beach. Very nice.
Okay.
This time of year, it's very cheap. Whatever's open, I don't know how they're doing over there. Yeah, he was in Norfolk, Steve. So we visited him when he was doing his basic over in Chicago, outside of Chicago. And then he went to a special spook school in Maryland. So we went and visited him over there. And then Norfolk. And then he got stationed all over Europe for a while. Yep, the Navy Pier. There's a huge pier. They have like usually 2 or 3 big, huge ships there. No, he wasn't a SEAL. He missed the SEAL contract. He tried out for SEALs. He was out of the top 100. He scored 102 on the physical, or not the physical part, but the running. So he was 102, but he scored in the top 50%, 50 in all the other ones, but he didn't make it. I don't think mentally he would be able to handle that anyway. I'm getting a little better. Thank you, Angelica. All right, so we got how many people? We got 100 people. Shall we get started? All right. All right, so we're in the second part of week 2. Your book talked about Disney, so we're going to continue with Disney and use Disney as an example for the SWOT and some of the other concepts that we're learning in chapter 3. So the mission of the Walt Disney Company is to be one of the world's leading producers, providers of entertainment and information. That has not changed over the what, 80 years, 90 years that Disney's been in business. Disney has specialized in the entertainment business, and that's what they've stuck with. Many companies have branched out into other industries. Disney has pretty much stayed with entertainment, whether it's movies, cartoons, theme parks, ocean liners, resorts. So that's pretty much what they've stuck with, and they've done it very, very, very well. All right, some of the companies that Disney owns, as you can see, they're all pretty much all in entertainment and leisure. Okay, so we talked about the SWOT. We're going to use Disney as a strength, weakness, opportunities, threat. So differentiated services. So in the entertainment industry, they pretty much got everything covered, right? Kind of looks that way. Experience. Very few companies have the experience Disney has. They're older companies. Companies been around longer, but Disney really has fine-tuned what they do well. They continue to prove, and they continue to create original characters and differentiated offers. So some of the weaknesses, balancing image with cost. Some of these movies that they make, the cost overruns or kill them. Balancing between generations, baby boomers to millennials to Gen X, Gen Zs. Sometimes the movies can capture a little bit of that audience, all of them, but most of the time they can't cater to everybody. And technology costs. As the costs rise, that can be a weakness for Disney because they do depend so much on technology. All right. So external, new markets, billions of people in Asia, right? So India, another few billion there, and other countries that are much more populated than the United States. And it's not always possible for a lot of these people to come to the United States. So, you know, there's huge opportunities in new markets, new characters. What was the latest character? The Ice Princesses? Isn't that the latest Disney characters? Coco. All right. I don't know. My kids are not small anymore, so I don't get to go to Disney movies. I did take my youngest son my middle child. He's in his early 20s. We went and saw the Incredibles. So I had an excuse to go to the movie theater. All right, so technology. Pixar, what Pixar's doing with technology, right, is great. It's some really good entertainment. Cost. Growing too big, kind of like when we spoke about Heineken, how they've grown too big can be a threat, and global control. Okay, so is it valuable? Is it rare? Is it imitable? Is it organized? What do you think about Disney? Is it all four of those? What do you think? Yeah. And what about the value chain? Disney value chain. We're going to talk about the Disney value chain too. All right, questions so far? We still haven't figured out who worked at Disney. Has anybody here worked at Disney? Nobody wants to admit it? All right.
I applied like 4 years ago, but they didn't give me the job.
They didn't give you the job. All right, close enough. All right. So the value chain on Disney. Talk about the value chain. Oh, all right. So Walt and his brother, everybody back there was something. You always had to enlist in, you always had to go into the services. All right, it is important for the Walt Disney Company to base its competitive advantage on activities in which it has access to the rare or scarce resources. So what are some of the scarce resources that Disney has? What are its resources? You guys can chime in now, speak up, raise your hand, whatever you want to do.
So I put creative minds, but like really like they're Imagineers, like they're pretty limited. Like they basically like, you know, them owning Pixar and Marvel, like these are all the creative minds. And Star Wars, you know, it's all kind of like they own everybody basically.
Yeah, they do. They have quite a bit of resources to engage those people to get them to come and work for them. That's one thing. The creative minds, the brand itself. What do you mean about the brand?
Like I think Disney's the name itself makes a lot of like has a lot of value to it, and then people look at Disney, the brand like worth a lot of like money and a lot of like brand reputation as well.
The brand means a lot, but how did they get that brand to be a competitive advantage? I mean, they had to build that brand, right? They just didn't wake up one morning and say, "Hey, we got Mickey Mouse here as a brand." So what they did is they actually built that brand. So on its own, it's not rare and a scarce resource. They actually put a lot of a lot of resources into building that one. Yeah, they did a very good job of perfecting storytelling. You want to add some more to that, Roger?
I just thought that from their movies to when you go to like Disneyland and you go on the rides, everything kind of goes together and it all really like it makes sense and is like really connected, the stories from like what you see on screen to everything else that Disney does.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, the girls will know this. The Hallmark Channel has a formula. You know, every movie, you know, they kiss at the last minute of the end of the movie. They have, you know, they get along together. They have some conflict, and then they resolve the conflict, and then they kiss. So, you know, like the Hallmark Channel, Disney also has a storytelling. They become very, very good at storytelling. There was location and land. So, Steve, tell me about location and land, because when they built those, they weren't prime real estate.
No, but I mean, if you look at the areas that they really decided to augment into, so Southern California, prime real estate, of course, it wasn't as big as it was back then, but it's also a Mecca Center right next to Los Angeles.
Yeah. So.
And if you look at the Orlando location, I think they're in London as well. They're very, very decisive in where they put their properties. And they're also vacation destinations. You can't say that everybody doesn't want to visit Hollywood. And if you're in Hollywood, why not visit Anaheim and go to Disneyland?
Yeah, exactly.
You know?
So yeah, and I'll talk a little bit more about the Florida Disneyland when we talk about resources. But yeah, absolutely. You know, that's everybody wanted to come to California anyway, and there was no reason to go to Orange County at the time except maybe Newport Beach. So they thought they would make it a destination place.
Well, it's an amazing destination place right now.
Yeah.
Well, not since the pandemic and everything, but I swear to God, you can't even get on the ride unless you spend an extra bucks for a fast pass. So the marketing aspect in that and allowing customers to go on rides even quicker, you know, that's a big deal too. That's an upsell for me because I'm not going to wait in 2 hours in line at Space Mountain.
No, I know. So when my kids were very young, we always had season passes. It was kind of nice because we only lived 20 minutes away from Disneyland. So my wife, you know, she stayed home, took care of the kids. So she had the premium pass, which was $200 for a year. So, and then the kids passes were not the lowest one, but the next one down, they were $100. So I would spend, you know, $500 for a year for, you know, five people.
Yeah, and then you know, they include the parking with it too. And if you look at like what's the neighboring theme park, Universal Studios, I go to the Hollywood Horror Nights every single year, me and my family, and we always upgrade to the passes that get you in line quicker. I think that's something that Disneyland did probably about 12, 13 years ago. They started with the Fast Pass, and it actually trended all throughout amusement parks. It was a great marketing tool.
Yeah, absolutely. So their resources to do competitive advantage, one of them we're going to talk about is the first mover advantage, and exactly just like that. Okay. So it'll include intellectual capital, asset skills, skills as in coming up with FastPass or distribution network. Okay. So primary, we're going to talk about the primary activities. Remember, there's two. There's support activities and primary activities. Primary activities are, we already went over that, are what the company does to make its product primarily. If it's in manufacturing, what it does to make a refrigerator. If it's in service accounting, what it does to give you accounting services for your company. Okay. Right there. All right. So we talked about inbound logistics, operations, outbound logistics, sales and marketing, and the service that follows all of the sales. Okay. So this is your primary activities. This is what companies do, even though they may be a little bit different in different industries. These are the primary 5 functions of a business. Okay. So inbound logistics, strong relationship with suppliers as the support is necessary to receive, store, and distribute their products. So inbound logistics is receiving everything from raw materials to actually building the rides or buildings or other things, as to corn dogs for the little red corn dog stand over off of Main Street. Okay. So operations is how the park operates as far as receiving the raw materials and putting them into use, as far as receiving bottles of Coca-Cola that they charge, what, $7 for, putting them in the ice on the street. So that's everything. The operations covers everything from one end to the other. Examples of operations are machining, packaging, reassembling and testing, equipment, repair, maintenance, also falls into all of this stuff. Okay, so outbound logistics is what they do once they gather all this information and all this stuff. Okay, so handling, warehousing, scheduling, order processing, transporting, and delivering to the destination. So everything from getting the bottle of Coca-Cola from the storage unit to the corn dog stand on Main Street. Okay.
Hey, Professor.
Yes.
If it's all right, I would like to touch on this, just make it a little simplified. So I work as an ops manager for UPS. So like we have our inbound schedule. Those are basically the trailers coming in from like Chicago, Arizona, Kentucky, the planes coming in from Louisville, whatever the case may be. That's our inbound schedule. Our outbound schedule is when we transfer that stuff from those trailers at our facility at March Air Force Base into the actual package trucks. And those are the outbound product that goes out to the customer itself.
Yeah. You still take everything from Bloomington directly to Bloomington?
No, we're not in Bloomington anymore. We have the San Bernardino facility, which we own over at the airport. Yep. Then we have Meridian, that's off of Meridian Parkway. And then we just built a new, it's actually a pretty cool facility. It's fully automated. Cost us about $400 million to build. It's right across the street from March at Crime Area in Moreno Valley.
All right.
So it's right next to the Amazon facility out there that they just built.
Yeah, I saw that. Amazon. It's huge. So
yeah, if you think they're big, we're over 1 million square feet. We almost double their size.
Yeah, that's crazy. So this is the expert right now. It's talking about outbound logistics. So outbound, it can be very, very simple. So like for example, I did business with Disney. They called me up. They said, hey, we need 2 copiers over at the legal department. Go deliver them, send them up. Okay, so the logistics are from my office to the Disneyland, and that's it. We're talking about, and then UPS. So if I have to order some supplies, then the supplies warehouse is in the East Coast. I have to get it to Burbank. So how I do that, I call up or I send a PO over to my vendor. They ship it from New Jersey. It goes all the way over to Riverside via air. And then if they put it on a truck, they put it to the distribution center. The distribution center sends it on another truck, and then finally gets delivered. So that would be an example of logistics, which I didn't know we were going to spend so much time on.
Yeah, sorry about that. But that's exactly how it happens.
Yeah, exactly. So see, the teacher actually knows what he's talking about. All right. So marketing and sales. It helps when you've been working in the real world for 30 years and then you teach. All right. The Walt Disney Company will highlight the benefits and differentiation points of offered products to persuade the customers that its offering is better than other competitors. So when they're selling those $1,000 a year passes, is it? I think it's even actually more than that now. I think my sister-in-law paid like $1,200. So, but her head, she's not all there anyway. So anyway, the Walt Disney Company. So $1,200. They're going to marketing and sales. They're going to get you to buy that, and they also do other marketing and sales. So for the cruise lines, for the hotels, for there's all kinds of different things. Everything needs a salesperson or some type of sales. Okay, advertising, promotional activities, pricing, channel selection, quote, building relations with channel members. All right, so the service that follows Disney. So let's talk about the service. What are some examples of the service that Disney offers from their theme parks, their cruise lines, their hotels? Go ahead, guys. I haven't even gotten to streaming Disney yet.
Yeah, I know. On the app, I have a lot of nieces and nephews. I have a 2-year-old son. Loves Buzz Lightyear. So I think one of the big services for me is on the app, you can actually map out where the actual characters are. If you have a park hopper pass, you can just cruise to the other park, find the character that your kid wants to take a picture with. Makes it real simple, real easy.
That's really cool. I don't know. I haven't been there in a while. So is Disneyland even open? They haven't even been open, have they?
No, not to my knowledge. But another good marketing tool or service that they have is that even if you wanted to get like one of those $1,200 passes, I mean, everything is financeable now. So they can put you on a payment plan for $30 a month. And you basically get to use that. And in my opinion, it pays for itself because parking there is about $20 a month or $20 every time you go there. So, I mean, the pass in my eyes kind of pays for itself.
Yeah. Okay. Jacqueline, you had something?
Yeah, so I don't really know much about Disney. I've only ever been like a couple times.
Okay.
But I know they have like live performers and like live people who like dress up as the characters. So that's a cool service to offer for kids. And like I know I have friends who like are performers for I think Disneyland in Hong Kong. I think they might have just got shut down again, but I have friends who perform for Disneyland like in Hong Kong. They offer a lot of different performances, and I know that brings in a lot of people. Like their Lion King festival is really popular, and then I think they had just replaced like their Aladdin musical with I think it was Frozen. So the performances and the shows that they offer draw a lot of attention as well.
Yeah, good example. Let's see. Yeah, I downloaded the app when it first came out. It didn't work too well, but I know they've gotten better since then. So food service at theme parks, yes, absolutely. Disneyland has some of the greatest food you can find anywhere. Some unique food too, but it's also really expensive. I think last time I bought a Diet Coke, there was like $6 or $7 for a bottle. Yes, the cleaning services. Once that park shuts down at night, they go through it top to bottom and clean every single surface. And not only that, they are also cleaning throughout the day. So, Angelica, you had a question?
Yes. I just kind of wanted to chime in that like the summation of like their service is really focused on the quality experiences they provide, both their customers inside of the parks and outside, like in front of the screen. Like cast members at parks are trained to make sure that they provide like immersion so kids don't feel out of place walking from like Bugs Life Land to Cars Street. And when their movies are put into theaters, they have a specific and strict guidelines on when and how the theaters can do the screenings. I think logistically, they put in a lot of they put a lot of thought into how their product and their brand is presented to people to make sure that their image adheres to their mission.
Yeah, absolutely. So what is that? What does a company call that when they have their employees act a certain way? Have we gone over that yet?
I don't think so.
Called corporate culture.
Oh.
So I don't think we've gone over it yet. So the corporate culture, yeah, many companies, that's a very big thing with them is corporate culture. The Cheesecake Factory has been sued numerous times for in the beginning, the servers were all white and they had to have 5 creases in their uniform. They had to have 2 in the arm, one in each arm, 1 in the legs, and then the apron had to have a crease right down the middle of it. So they ended up getting sued and they won. And so now the uniforms can't be wrinkled, but they don't have to be pressed like that. So it's kind of, so, but the culture in the Cheesecake Factory was very rigid. So. Okay. All right. Anybody else want to add anything before we move on? All right. So the value chain, this is pretty much a standard value chain for most all industries. And like I said before, depending on the industry, it's going to be a little bit different. Like I showed you the manufacturing last week, Monday. So, okay. So the support activities at Disney, I was going to do an exercise, but we didn't do it this morning, so I'm not going to make you do it. So I'm just going to ramble on for a little bit longer. The support activities play an important role in coordinating facilitating the primary chain activities. So the firm infrastructure, HR, tech, IT, and purchasing. So these are all the different Disney support activities, how they affect Disneyland. Got this off their website. So the infrastructure denotes a range of activities such as quality management, legal, accounting, finance, planning, strategic management. So even though Disney has accounting firms and law firms on their payroll, they still have internal, and they still do have departments that do those types of things because it's easier, they can do it quicker. But if they have something that's a big deal, they'll put it out to one of their other companies that they use. So effective infrastructure management can allow the Walt Disney Company to optimize the value of the whole value chain. So having some of them inside of the company lets them the opportunity to optimize the value. Okay, HR. So like I said, Disney has a very selective and a very rigid HR way that they do business and the way that they hire, the way they train. They actually train other people and other companies using their techniques. For example, have you ever been to a venue where the parking was horrible and you wish the Disney people were there? Directing you this way. So Disney's HR people, and they are award-winning trainers on many different types of management and all types of other training. Okay, and not only that, but a lot of safety issues with the training. Look at Disney. Look how easy it would be to get hurt. You let kids running around screaming and yelling and doing whatever they wanted. So effective HR manager can allow the Walt Disney Company to reduce competitive pressure based on motivation, commitment, skills of its workforce. Can also achieve its cost minimization objectives by analyzing, hiring, and training costs. Okay, and that's the number one thing Disney is good at. When it comes to HR is the keeping the costs down in training and keeping it very effective. Okay, IT, so everything from the new Star Wars land to the state-of-the-art Fantasia when it came out in the very beginning. and they are still always improving on the technology, on the software, on the design, and the data analytics. Like you mentioned, the data analytics told them, hey, if we do a fast track, we're going to get these people in here faster. We're going to keep them happier. And I don't know if anybody here. Oh, we're going to have a guest speaker next week about data analytics. That'll be good. Okay, procurement. So everything from the corn dog sold on that little red wagon to the steel to make the Millennium Falcon is all done by procurement, by purchasing. So the inputs that may range from equipment, machinery, raw materials, supplies, hot dogs, and whatever else that Disney leads as a raw material or as a finished product. So obviously Disney doesn't make the Coca-Cola, right? They buy it from Coca-Cola, they ship it, they get it, they stick it on ice. All right. So your book, I'm going to talk about this. Your book has more detail about this. The company Diamond is another evaluation tool when you're looking at a company. What is the company good at? What activities create value for customers? What resources, capability drives those activities? How difficult is it to imitate? So this is kind of like a SWOT with a Vario type analysis put together. And I'm not going to regurgitate a bunch of information from your books. I'm just going to talk just briefly on it. So in what ways is the organization designed to capture the value created? So this is another tool of analyzing that. What priorities and values support and sustain resources and capabilities? And how committed is the company to these priorities and values? Okay, so for example, they use the Diamond model for strengths on Walmart and Nordstrom's. So obviously you're not going to go to Nordstrom's for the low price leader, right? But you're going to go to Walmart. So what are the companies good at? Customer service. I bought a couple of shirts online from Nordstrom's. I took them back. They said, what's wrong with them? And they said, they don't fit correctly. I don't like them. They said, okay, no problem. Here's your money back. And the guy, I go, I recognize you. And he goes, yeah. He goes, I've been here 25 years. And so they retain their talented staff as another one of their strengths. And that was in the Riverside one. So that one's closed now. All right. So the Vario, rare, imitable, organized to exploit. Does it meet all of these? Yes, yes, and yes. Yes, yes, and yes. So that's how Walmart and Nordstrom's kind of in a nutshell maintain their competitive advantage. Like I'm giving you the answers before. Okay. So I know Sears is no longer in business, but I like to use this slide anyway, because when Sears did have the competitive advantage, what were they good at? And they had a broad selection of goods, more than any other goods. Now Amazon's come along and you can't say that about Sears anymore. But what's Sears good at now? Does anybody know?
Washing machines.
Washing machine. I think they sold that division off, but yeah.
They did? Oh, man.
Yeah. So right now, the guy who used to run Sears owns billions of dollars of real estate. So, and these real estate places are in prime locations. If they're not at a mall or at a high foot traffic place, they're in a residential area on a main street. So what they're doing is they're turning these places into condos for millennials. Guys still making billions of dollars. All right, so company Diamond for Disney, these are examples. Disney will never be completed. It will continue to grow as long as there is imagination left in the world, okay? So these are all the things that you can say about Disney. Okay, so what's Disney good at? Credit card sales. I think I used to have a Disney credit card a long time ago. So Disney's good at what? Merchandising? Oh, for Sears. Well, later we're going to talk about how everybody's getting into the credit card business because it is very, very profitable. Yes, Disney's good at marketing. So all these different movies that Disney owns and markets, every one is a production within itself, right? Merchandising, they got, well, first you've got the movie, then you got the merchandising, then you have everything that follows it. Yes, Deadpool. That was a pretty good movie. Okay, what else do we got? All right, and then the theme parks, of course, right? The theme parks of Walt Disney World. So again, with a competitive advantage, the strength, popular, strong brand, growing profile of popular products, strong cooperative growth among business segments. So selling the rights to make Disney characters, selling the rights to market them is a strong cooperative growth. Strong presence in communications. So everything all Disney seeing. Okay, so some of the weaknesses is Disney's not a very diversified company. They're not making Louis Vuitton handbags. They're not making Converse sneakers, but they are doing all things entertainment. Limited expansion of amusement parks. So here in the United States, there's probably not room for another one, but China, India, other Asian parts of Asian territories, there's plenty of population to support those. So, and maybe even one in South America, maybe Brazil, right? 15 something million people. So what does Disney do to compete? They make movies, right? Rides, shows. We talked about the shows at the theme parks. Nobody really does shows like that. Go and see the whales. Nobody can get into the tank with the whales anymore because the whales got sick of the people. Okay, entertainment, food, cleanliness, and Disney attitude, which is a corporate culture we talked about. Okay. So Disney is definitely the first mover. They were the first one to do anything like this. Even with the Fast Pass, right? Even though that's something that they're not going to really compete against in the parks, but that's something that they did first. Best engineers in the world. They literally drained a swamp in Florida and built a park on top of water. So they drained it, built a park, and this is a picture of the Epcot Center. So the operations of building a park and management. So these are all the resources and the capabilities that nobody even comes close to what Disney can do. All right. Happiest place on earth. It's people training. It's characters. That's all corporate culture and the experience that the people have. All right. So we were going to do an exercise, but like I said, this morning class, we didn't do it. So I'm not going to make you guys do it. All right. So any questions about chapter 3? We're all finished with chapter 3. Speak now if you want to know anything. All right, I'm going to talk about your group project. Is everybody awake? I'm going to check. I'm going to scroll through, see who's awake, who's sleeping, and who has their camera off. All right. So half of you have your camera off, half of you are asleep. Got it. All right. Okay, so you guys have all read the syllabus. Cascade Ceramics Company, CCC, is the company. I am the CEO of that company, and you are going to be my consultants. I'm going to hire you because I don't know what to do. You guys are the experts, so you're going to tell me what to do. So your immediate assignment is to figure out how to increase revenue with the next 12 months, so CCC can provide a net gain instead of another loss next year. Your second goal is to create a sustainable midterm solution that will generate revenue for the next 5 years and beyond. And then your bonus solution is you're going to find a stable long-term solution. So in the past, everybody's done either one product, 2 products, 3 products, sometimes more. I would stick to 1 or 2. Otherwise, you're just creating a lot of work, a lot of research that really is not going to do me any good. It's not going to do you any good because you're going to get confused and you're going to get a little bit frustrated doing all the research. Okay. So the deliverables, a 50-page paper outlining the issues, does not cover this does not cover page title or reference page. Single spaced, Times New Roman, 12 font, executive summary. Almost everybody fails the executive summary. An executive summary is what gets the attention of the person reading it, the executive. I'm going to look at it and I'm going to go 2 paragraphs down. I'm going to go, this is shit, and I'm going to throw it away. That was what would happen in a real world if you're doing a bid for a consulting job. If I look at it and say, oh yeah, that sounds good. Yeah, that's great. Then I'll continue reading. Because I'm a professor and this is your final assignment, I'm going to read the whole paper, as crappy as it might be. So executive summary, I'm going to give some more additional information on it. I'm going to give you a paper on it. I'm going to give you all kinds of good stuff on it, and you're still going to fail it, but that's okay. I grade kind of easy on it, but that doesn't mean you can not try. All right. So, and business format. So this is a business report. This is not an academic report. I don't want to see double-spaced anything. Analyzing alternatives and making recommendations. So your job is to analyze what's going on with this company, how I'm going to make money. Okay, what am I going to do in 12 months to make a positive cash flow? And yes, you will have to do some research in the ceramics industry. All right, so the deliverables are right here. So 20 points for proper format, just making sure the paper is in proper format. I'm going to give you 20 points. All right, so doing the strategic case analysis, PESTEL we'll go over later, Porter's 5 forces you already know about, VRIO. All of these things you're going to use to assess how to do what's going on with the industry, what are you going to recommend, what are your steps to resolve my issues and my problems, and how you're going to do it. All right. So what questions do you have for me?
Hey, Professor, on the paper, are we allowed to use any graphs, diagrams, anything like that, inserts?
Absolutely. So a picture is worth 1,000 words. And if you give me a picture, it's not, I'm going to get upset and get very mad. Just kidding.
Jesus.
For a graph, make sure there's a purpose to it.
Yeah, well, I'm talking like say like a revenue scheme. If you do some in-depth analysis on market entry and you see that Ohio has a very high profitability margin, and you put a graph in there over their sales for the last 5 years.
Whatever you want to do, as long as it pertains to what you're trying to achieve. So if it's supporting evidence, supporting and backing up what you're saying, then yeah, that's fine. Absolutely. You know, if you're just throwing, you know, I have people throw in the standard Porter's 5 forces thing. Well, what is this? This tells me absolutely nothing. I already know Porter's 5 forces.
So basically, if we want to do a Porter's 5 forces, but for the company, we can create a chart, graph, scheme, schematic, something like that.
You do Porter's 5 forces pertaining to exactly what you're telling me. So threat of entry, like for example, if we're doing airlines, threat of entry is, yeah, another airline can come in here and do this, no problem. So, you know, that would be a threat of entry, not substitution or rivalry or, you know, something generic. So, you know, make a point. If you're going to use a picture, make it worth 1,000 words. Make a point.
Copy that.
And then also next week, we're going to start taking roles. So if your name does not show up as it does on the roster, you guys are not going to get credit for being here. So Steve, make sure you put your last name down.
Hey, copy you, Professor. On the assignments that we do this week, my schedule moved around a lot with work. I got put on air operations in March for security clearances. Is there any way that I can turn them in on Saturday too?
Only things due is Friday, and that's the discussion. That'll take you 5 minutes.
Okay, I thought we had a paper due Monday and today.
Monday you do, yeah, next Monday. And no class on Monday though, it's a holiday.
Okay, copy.
All right. Does that give you enough time?
Yeah, it should give me enough time. I'm just trying to readjust my schedule. I've actually locked myself in my study today away from my 2-year-old, so
All
it's been
right.
a little difficult.
Somebody tried to get me to extend their paper, and I said, "Hey, wait a minute, aren't you on a 5-hour flight? What are you going to do in that 5 hours?" So, all right. So anyway, what else you got for me? Yes, yes, it's due Monday despite the holiday. Come on. What do you think it is, like Columbus Day or something? Those poor Europeans, they don't get any holidays anymore. All right, thank you, everyone. I'm going to stick around for a while, so if you want to stay and chat, you're more than welcome. Yeah, go ahead, Mimi, make an announcement. Oh, yeah, that's right. I forgot, Mimi, sorry.
That's okay. Hi, everyone. I'm Mimi. I am currently a board member on the American Marketing Association organization here on campus. I just wanted to report that right after this class at 5 p.m., we are having a speaker alumni panel so that we're bringing in some alumni from our club to talk about post-grad and life after college and whatnot. So if you guys are curious to kind of get your questions answered, feel free to join us, check us out. All of our information can be found on Instagram at AMAUCR, and we have the flyer and the Zoom link on there as well. And we're open to anybody. So even if you're not a marketing concentration or even a business student, you're welcome to join us. So yeah, if you guys have any questions, I'm here to answer them as well. Thank you.
Here, I'll put up your little flyer. Hold on one second.
Thank you.
Here we go. Alumni panel Q&A. Wesley Russell, Tian Chari, Luis Machado. All right. So Wednesday, January 13th from 5 to 6 p.m. Zoom ID right there. Did you want to put the Zoom ID in the chat box?
Yeah, go ahead and add that in right now.
Okay. And then I know Joshua told everybody this, but I'm going to put the link to the document for, what is it? The groups. So now you have that going on for you. I don't want that one. All right.
Professor, if you don't mind me asking, who's the guest speaker for next week, you said?
No guest speaker. Just I was going to have somebody speak about